Hello folks, today we're going to review an SSD PCIe card adapter that I got for my NAS build. So let's look at the Sedna PCI Express PCIe adapter for SSDs, and let's see what we have in the box. Alright, some contact information for the vendor, some packing foam, and the adapter, through mounting screws, and a driver disc. Now let's take a look at the card itself. So there you have it. That's the basic card or the adapter that you get for the PCIe to SATA adapter. So you would use this if you run out of all your SATA ports on your motherboard and you still want to add a 2.5-inch drive. You would make use of these controller cards. And as it happens, in my NAS build, I had 6 SATA ports and all of them are used by data drives. And since I don't want to use a USB stick for my FreeNAS install, I'm going to use this adapter and a 2.5-inch laptop drive that I had lying around for installing FreeNAS. Right, so these cards come in two varieties. One is the PCIe X1, and there are other options where you can get a PCIe X2 card as well for the same adapter. Now the reason I went with a PCIe X1 card is because I didn't have any X2 or X4 slots in my NAS. So I'm going to use a PCIe X1 card, connect one 2.5-inch drive, and you also have an option of an additional SATA port on this card itself. Now to get a 2.5-inch drive in the adapter is pretty simple. All you need to do is just line up the connectors and just slide it in. There you go. That should do it. And just to make it more secure, turn it over and attach 4 screws in the screw holes provided. So let me just do that. And that is it. Now your card is ready. So let me open my NAS box and let's see how we install this in the NAS unit. So here we are in the NAS unit, and as you can see, I have 6 drives here connected to 2 and these 4 SATA ports on the motherboard and 4 on the add-on card. And I have, I'm not sure if you can see that, but I have 2 PCIe X1 cards or slots empty in here, wherein I would plug in this adapter. Now once you have the drive on the card, all you'll have to do is just go ahead and insert that card in one of the PCIe cards. Now immediately I can see a problem here. The one right next to my existing card won't accommodate it due to this SATA connector. Now since I have a mechanical spinning disc in here, I'm going to make sure that I tighten this up really well, or else the vibration might loosen this card. Now once that is done, I suspect what we need is we might need to supply additional power to this card as well. And for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a spare Molex connector, and I'll put a 4-pin to a SATA power adapter in there to power this card up. So I have this 4-pin Molex to a SATA power adapter. I'm going to use an existing Molex connector on my motherboard or on my power supply to connect the add-on card. Just line up the notches and you can just slide it right in. The card is now connected. Now let me turn on the PC and see if the new disk is recognized by the OS, or rather if the OS boots from this device. One thing to note is if you're using the adapter for an OS drive or a system drive, make sure that your BIOS is compatible with booting from PCIe, because not all BIOSes support that, and I'm not sure if my BIOS on the motherboard is going to support this, so I'm just going to turn it on and see if it works. Alright folks, this is a extremely low-tech screen capturing, and now the moment of truth. Here we go. Turn it on. Okay, the drive is definitely spinning, but alright, there we go. Alright, it's booting. I need to go to the BIOS. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that's the drive and not the AOS 01 that I had selected. Right, so this is the drive that has the OS installed. Oh yes, and it works. So this is the NAS boot screen and it works fine. Fantastic. So the reason I needed to add an additional drive in there instead of a USB drive for NAS was because one of my USB drives where NAS was running on went bad. Obviously I knew that because I had put the system volume on my USB drive, and due to that what happens is FreeNAS would continuously write on the USB drive, and as you know, flash drives are not made for extensive writes, especially the USB flash drives. So it just went bad, and instead of throwing more flash drives at it, this is more of a permanent solution for my FreeNAS box. So that is it folks. Until next time, have a good day.